How long do you think you could survive without oxygen? A minute? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Most people know oxygen is important. We breathe it every second of every day without even thinking about it. But very few people truly understand what happens when that oxygen suddenly disappears. The truth is that your body begins reacting almost immediately. And what follows over the next few minutes is a terrifying chain reaction that affects every organ, every cell, and every system keeping you alive. Today, we're going to explore exactly what happens to the human body without oxygen, minute by minute. Let's begin. Oxygen is one of the most important substances for human life. Every breath you take delivers oxygen into your lungs, where it enters your bloodstream and travels throughout your body. Your organs depend on it. Your muscles depend on it. Your heart depends on it. But no organ depends on oxygen more than your brain. Even though the brain represents only a small percentage of your total body weight, it consumes roughly 20% of the oxygen your body uses every day. That's because your brain is constantly active. Every thought, every memory, every movement, every heartbeat, every breath, all of it requires oxygen. Without it, the body's countdown begins. During the first few seconds after oxygen is cut off, you may not notice anything unusual. You might still feel completely normal. However, inside your body, emergency systems are already activating. The amount of oxygen circulating in your blood begins to decrease. Your cells continue consuming the remaining oxygen reserves. The brain quickly detects the change and starts sending signals designed to keep you alive. At this stage, there is no visible damage, but the clock is already ticking. After about 30 seconds, the body becomes increasingly aware that something is wrong. Your breathing instinct intensifies. You begin feeling an overwhelming urge to inhale. Even if you try to stay calm, your body starts fighting for oxygen automatically. Your heart rate may increase. Stress hormones begin flooding your bloodstream. Adrenaline rises. Your body enters survival mode. This is when anxiety and panic often begin. The sensation can be extremely uncomfortable because every cell is demanding oxygen. As the first minute passes, oxygen levels continue falling. The brain now receives significantly less oxygen than it needs to function properly. You may begin experiencing dizziness. Your vision may become blurry. Some people report ringing in their ears. Others experience confusion or difficulty concentrating. Simple thoughts become harder to process. Reaction times slow down. The brain is starting to struggle. Between 1 and 2 minutes, symptoms become much more noticeable. Mental confusion increases. Decision-making becomes impaired. Coordination begins to suffer. You may have difficulty standing or moving normally. Speech can become affected. Memory and judgment rapidly deteriorate. At this point, the brain is entering a dangerous state. Its cells are highly sensitive to oxygen deprivation. Unlike some tissues in the body, many brain cells cannot easily recover once significant damage occurs. And this is where things become truly serious. Around 2 to 3 minutes without sufficient oxygen, the first stages of brain injury may begin. Neurons start malfunctioning. Communication between different regions of the brain becomes disrupted. The electrical activity that allows the brain to function normally becomes unstable. The longer oxygen remains unavailable, the greater the damage becomes. Many people assume the body can simply wait for oxygen to return. Unfortunately, that is not how it works. Every second matters. Every minute increases the risk. By the time 3 minutes have passed, doctors begin becoming deeply concerned about permanent neurological damage. The exact timing varies depending on temperature, health conditions, and individual circumstances. However, the risk rises dramatically. Brain cells begin dying, and once those cells are gone, they generally cannot be replaced. This is why emergency responders treat oxygen deprivation as a race against time. The goal is to restore oxygen before irreversible injury occurs. But the most frightening part may still be ahead. After approximately 4 to 5 minutes, severe brain damage becomes increasingly likely. Consciousness is often lost. The body's ability to maintain normal function starts breaking down. Without oxygen, cells cannot efficiently produce the energy they need. Every organ begins suffering. The brain continues deteriorating. The nervous system becomes unstable. The body is now approaching complete systemic failure. Meanwhile, the heart continues trying to compensate. It works harder in an attempt to deliver what little oxygen remains. But eventually, even the heart begins suffering from oxygen deprivation. Heart rhythms may become abnormal. Blood circulation becomes less effective. The body's last remaining defenses begin collapsing. Beyond 5 minutes, the situation becomes critical. Major organs start shutting down. The brain experiences extensive injury. The heart struggles to maintain circulation. The kidneys, liver, and other vital organs begin failing. At this stage, survival becomes increasingly unlikely without immediate intervention. Even if a person is revived, long-term complications can be severe. Permanent brain damage, memory loss, loss of motor function, cognitive impairment, and many other life-changing consequences. Interestingly, some people who have experienced severe oxygen deprivation report unusual sensations before losing consciousness. Some describe intense panic. Others report feelings of detachment. A few even describe a sense of calm. Scientists continue studying these experiences, but one thing remains clear. The brain behaves very differently when deprived of oxygen. As normal function breaks down, perception itself can become altered. Eventually, however, consciousness fades completely. The body can no longer sustain itself. Without oxygen, life cannot continue. What makes this reality so fascinating is that oxygen is invisible. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. Most of the time, you don't even think about it. Yet every second of your existence depends on it. Every heartbeat, every thought, every movement, every moment of awareness, all powered by a constant supply of oxygen. Remove that supply, and the human body begins a rapid and devastating countdown. In just a few minutes, the systems that support life start shutting down. It's a powerful reminder of how fragile human life truly is. The next breath you take may feel completely ordinary, but without it, everything changes. And that is exactly why oxygen remains one of the most important substances for survival on Earth.